Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey, and this is going to be day one of my weekend reading vlog. So this is my first weekend reading vlog, which is exciting. Never done one of these, so we'll see how it goes. Excited for all the reading I've planned for this weekend. So if you're wondering why I'm in a totally different setting than my last video, so this is my office in my house. So I have all of my books in another room. So I'll probably, most videos, be recording either in here or in my library, so you'll see both locations. So today is Thursday, so my weekend's a little bit different than most. So I only work Monday to Thursday, and then on Thursdays I get off at noon, so half a day is fantastic. So basically my weekends start on noon on Thursday, which is really, really nice. So that means extra time to read and get stuff done. It's been a long day. I'm really tired from getting up really early. I had to get a state inspection on my car. So, you know, all the good adulting has been done today. So that is fun. I got my new tags for my car. So just did a bunch of adulting. But after I did my adulting, I decided to reward myself. So I went to Barnes & Noble, which is my happy place. And I went in looking for one thing, and as everybody has probably experienced, you go in for one thing, you leave with about 20. So I'm going to do a little mini haul here in a few minutes to show you guys what I picked up at Barnes & Noble today, because I'm really excited about it. One of the books that I picked up, actually two. So there are two different series that I picked up while I was there, that one of them I squealed out loud in the store. When I saw it, because I was just so excited. Then the other one, I just squealed again, and I was like, I didn't know this was out. I didn't know they would have this out. And not gonna lie, there was a girl like right near me, and she just kind of looked at me like, okay. And she like slowly kind of like slid over, but you know what? Whatever. I was excited. But I'm gonna first go over some reading plans, share with you guys what I'm reading this weekend, what I'm gonna be talking about. So in these future vlogs, what I'm really gonna be doing is kind of going through my journey through books that I'm going through. So of course, this one's gonna be a little bit different because one of the books I've already started and I'm a good about 50% of the way through. So I'll be talking about just kind of my final thoughts when I'm done with the book. And then the next two I'm hoping to finish by Saturday night, which is when this vlog will end. So without further ado, let's talk about the books that I'm reading this weekend, because that's really what we're here for. Right now that I'm currently about halfway through is going to be The Burning God by R.F Kuang. So I started this about 2 days ago, and it is just as heartbreaking as I thought it was going to be. So I'm about 50% of the way done. I'm hoping that I can knock this out maybe tonight. If I stay up really late, I could finish this tonight. Maybe tomorrow morning. I don't know if I want to start my day in tears though. So just a little bit background on the Poppy Wars series. So the Poppy Wars series, this follows our main character, Ren, and basically in the first book, she is in a really bad home environment. She wants to get out, so she takes this really difficult test the highest in the region, and she is sent to like the most prestigious military school. And at this school, she is pushed to the limit. But not just that, but she is brought down every single day for the color of her skin, her accent, how much money she has, how she was raised, just everything about her. And then even what she decides to study at this school, you know, she's brought down for that. So there's just a lot of things writing against her 24/7. Also, while she's there, of course, there's a war looming on the doorstep, literally. And so this takes place, so this is like a grim, dark fantasy story, and this takes place like within the Poppy Wars. And in the first book, you're entering into the third Poppy War. And so when this war occurs, like these students are just thrown right into the war, hardly any experience. They haven't even graduated the academy yet, and they're thrown right into the midst of this third Poppy War, and basically, you know, fighting for survival. The main character, Ren, like just everything she goes through in that book of just trying to survive this war, along with some of her friends, is just incredible. Everything she has to go through. I will say with this series, trigger warnings on this, so please look them up before you go into the series. Like I said, this is a grimdark fantasy series, so know that it is very gruesome, very violent, very descriptive, and all those things. Things that are tackled in this book. So you have substance abuse is a very heavy topic. There is sexual assault and abuse, and yeah, so lots of trigger warnings. Look that up before proceeding with this series. That's what the Poppy War is all about. But yes, I'm going to be hopefully finishing this tonight. Keyword hopefully. One of those things where it's like I want to finish it. I do want to finish this, but at the same time I'm terrified, because I will honestly say that I don't know if our main character is going to get out of this alive. Like, you know when you read a lot of books, you're like, I don't know if they're going to get through it, and at the end it's like, yay, they lived, they made it. How did they do that? This one though, I don't know how she's going to make it out of this alive. I really don't. Happy read to start the weekend, lots of feels. So the next two books that I'm hoping to get through this weekend, the first one, so backtrack. Well, I love reading multiple books at one time. I used to not do that. I used to be a person where it was just like, no, I'm going to read one thing at a time, and until I finish this, then I'll start this. I used to be that way. End of last year, I kind of started dabbling in reading multiple books at one time, and I did it to where I was like reading a novel and then reading a graphic novel, or reading a book of poetry and also, a really big fantasy novel. I kind of practiced with that and learned, whoa, this is actually really fun. I love reading multiple things at one time. As long as they're not really within the same genre, I learned, then that's a good way to do it. If I'm reading two like major fantasies at one time, it gets really confusing really fast. So I don't do that. So I'm gonna read two books at the same time this weekend, just to kind of see how they are. I don't know if I'll finish both of them. I'm hoping to finish at least one, maybe both. That would be really cool if I did. So book number one that I'm going to be starting this weekend is going to be The Dead List by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So if you've watched my February TBR video, you know that Jennifer L. Armentrout is my absolute favorite author of all time. I have loved her for probably 10 plus years. My bookshelf behind me is actually majority all Jennifer L. Armentrout books. There are some Sarah J. Maas original copies over there. There's some good like early stories by Laurie Stolarz, the Hollow Kingdom trilogies over there. Just basically everything in here are like all-time favorites. But two of those shelves over there are just Jennifer L. Armentrout. So this book is purely just... This was a cover by, and just also looking at the tagline at the top. I haven't even read the back of this yet. I'm staying away from it. I don't want to know what it's about. I just want to jump right in. I brought this because the cover is just really, really cool, and just the tagline, you're really curious because it says he's keeping a list, he's checking it twice, which sounds like a Christmas horror, but I know it's not. But I just want to know what this is about. So the second, or well, technically the third book I'm reading this weekend, but the second one that I'm reading at the same time with The Dead List that I'll be starting is going to be These Violent Delights. The cover reveal for the second book just happened today, or I think it was today. It might have been yesterday. No, I think it was today. And so I went ahead and already looked, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. It's coming out later this year, which is really, really good because I don't want to wait that long. If I enjoy this, I don't want to wait long for the next book. This book is a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in 1920 Shanghai. So this follows Roma and Juliet. So I believe, from what I've heard, that they are in rival gangs, and that there's some kind of monster within the city that is like basically killing off all these gang members. So from what I've heard, like, I've been trying to stay away from too much and like knowing too much about it, but I can't help it because I just want to know. Sometimes I do that with books. Sometimes I'm good and don't look at what it's about, and then sometimes I just dive right in. This one, I believe the monster like makes people like tear their throats out. It's really gruesome sounding, but I'm gonna read it anyways. So I mentioned earlier that I went to Barnes & Noble today as kind of a treat myself for adulting and getting adulting things done. I like to do that. I think it's important to always try to do that in some sort of way after doing something, even if it's small, like a small task of, oh, go get my car inspected and then go get my new tags for my car. It's a little task, but I like to still treat myself afterwards. So like I said, I went in there for one thing, one book. I came out with more than that. I have them all stacked in front of me on my desk. I'm gonna show you one of the ones I'm most excited about. When I saw these, I literally screamed, and I wouldn't be surprised if people heard me a few aisles away, like squealing. And when I walked in, I'm just perusing around, and they were setting up these tables of all these like new hardback, new releases, and so I was kind of just perusing, and then in the back corner, they had the hardback editions of the series from Blood and Ash. You have no idea how excited I am to be holding these, the hardback editions. So I have the paperback editions, but these are the nice hardback editions, and they're beautiful. So for those of you who don't know what From Blood and Ash is about, one I will say, this book has taken over BookTube and Bookstagram. It is everywhere. The third book for this comes out very soon. It comes out in April, I believe. So this follows Poppy, and she is the maiden. So she is this like put on a pedestal. People worship her, and basically she is not allowed to speak to anyone. She has a veil that covers her face. She's kind of the icon of this kingdom, and people protect, like, she is very much protected at all times. So yeah, she wears this veil over her face. She can't speak. She's not allowed to fight. You know, she's just this icon that is worshipped. And of course, through this, we learn that Poppy does not want to be this. She wants to learn how to fight. She wants to go explore the city at night. She wants to, you know, read literature that she probably shouldn't be reading. If you know, you know. Then, lo and behold, she gets a guard that is there to protect her, named Hawk. If you've read this series, you know that he is an amazing man. There is a fantastic fantasy story at its core where this kingdom is just like, there's an enemy kingdom on the outside that's trying to attack, and you're trying to figure out who are they, what do they want, and so they're trying to protect Poppy from this, but also Poppy needs protection from the people within the castle that she is hidden in. There's just a lot of things happening, and then of course you have the romance happening between her and her guard, Hawk, and it is very good, very steamy. So if you are looking for a very good, just angsty romance, a little bit of a fantasy flair for this good old February for Valentine's, pick up this series. So Ash is the first book. The second book is A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. Like I said, the third book is coming out in April, so check it out. I did have a couple books that I bought that I really don't know anything about. I decided to grab Warrior of the Wild. So I believe this is a standalone, if I've heard correctly. Like I said, I really don't know much about this, and I want to keep it that way. So if you want to know what these are about, some of these, if you want to know what they're about, if I don't talk about it, I'll put in my description below the title. That way you can remember what the title of the book is. That way you can go find a description of the book yourself. So, because some of these, like I said, I like to be surprised and just jump in and know nothing about it. So this is one of those that I really want to stay surprised and not know anything jumping into it. So I'm hoping it's, just judging from the battle axe, you know, that's on the cover, I'm hoping that this is a Viking story, because that would be freaking cool if it was. The next book that I bought was a cover buy, and I know this is a new release, and this is called The Project by Courtney Summers. Ooh, that is bright on there. This cover is just really, really neat. So you've got, like, because it's like this creepy house, and then with the girl's face on it and everything, it's really cool. Again, I do not know what this one is about. I just want to kind of jump into this one. I want to say this is some sort of mystery type book. If I've heard enough about Sadie by this author, I haven't read Sadie, but I know that that one's kind of more of a mystery as well. I did pick up 2 nonfictions, but I'll touch on those in a little bit. But I am going to go through some of the manga that I bought. I'm so excited about it. Like, one of the series in here is another one that I explained kind of at the beginning, that when I found it, I squealed. The little manga haul that I had, one of the first series I picked up, I saw it, so I mainly bought this for my husband, for him to have in his manga collection. It's one of his favorite animes of all time, and so I saw it and I was like, you know what, I really just want to read it. I haven't watch too many episodes of it. I'm not crazy about the animation style, but I really want to read it because I think the story is really cute and funny. And that is Nichijou, so I grabbed the first 2 volumes, and I'm so excited to read this. It's so cute. So basically, Nichijou is kind of a school genre type of manga, and basically it's a bunch of little group of friends going through everyday life and just getting through school and friendship, family, all that good stuff. I will say that when I say that, like just getting through everyday life, there's just some very like hilarious things that happen through it. Like the little bit that I've watched of the anime in it, like literally like they start fighting and this girl pulls out like a bazooka and fires it at somebody. I'm like, where did she get this weapon? Like, what is happening? So the next manga that I picked up is volume 7 to Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, Kanna's Daily Life. So it's a funny story with this series. I started dating my husband, like I was starting to get into anime and asked him like, oh, what should I watch? Like it was jokingly. Like I think we were just joking about anime and he's like, oh, watch Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. And he meant it as a joke. Like he thought, oh my god, she's gonna be so weirded out by the show, like it'll just be funny. And instead I fell in love with it. Like I just found it really charming and funny and adorable, especially Kanna, who's just the cutest little thing ever. So Dragon Maid follows Toru, who is this dragon, and she comes out of her world and onto Earth, and she meets a human, and basically they become best friends, or well, Toru is like trying to be in a romantic relationship with her, and it's just hilarious. So Toru like falls in love with Kobayashi, and like she's always trying to get her attention. It's really adorable. And so then all of a sudden like it's just Toru that comes into the world, but then other dragons start coming to this world, and that's where you meet Kanna and a bunch of her other friends. And Kanna is just so cute. Like I fell in love with her so fast because she's adorable. I just love watching all of her antics that she gets into. So I picked up like, so there's Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid series, and then there's like these little series on the side, one of them being Kanna's Daily Life. Okay, so the next one that I grabbed is Maid in Abyss. So I grabbed volume 2. I thought I grabbed volume 1, but then when I got home, my husband's like, you realize that's not volume 1? And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, it's the official anthology. I was just going based off the side where it said volume 1, and it's not. It's an anthology. It's not about basically like there's this island and there's this giant hole in the middle of this world, and so people will dive into this hole, like train basically all their lives to dive in, and there's basically, I think there's multiple layers, so the deeper that you go the harder it is to climb back up. I believe the girl's name is Rico, and so basically she meets this boy Reg, and he's like an artifact from very deep into this hole in the island, and so he doesn't really know anything about where he came from, how he came to be, anything like that. So they want to discover more about him, but also they're trying to find her mother, because her mother dove way down deep into this hole in the island, and everyone thought she was dead, but actually she's alive. And so her daughter decides, I need to go down there and find her. So they go on this crazy adventure going down there. And the manga series that I was most excited to find, so this is a series that really my husband got me into. He has been reading it online, and he is very caught up with it, and he just loves it. And then he's like, hey, it's coming out with an anime. And so right when the anime came out, like we decided to watch it, and so we just connected with it so well, and I'll explain that in a minute. But we just connected so much with the characters and the story, and it's just such an adorable anime. And so I've been asking, going like, oh, are they going to release it into a manga? Like, I'd love to be able to read it like in actual physical form instead of just online. And I was walking through the store, and I'm just perusing the manga shelves, and I saw it, and I squealed because I didn't know that they had released like a physical version of it. So with this, I have volumes 2 and 3. They didn't have volume 1. So I'm going to have to order volume 1 now that I know that it exists, but I grabbed what they had. So the series that I grabbed that I'm so excited about is Fly Me to the Moon. I'm so excited this exists. You have no idea. Saves the guy character in this, Nasa, so she saves him from getting hit by this car, and basically he like just falls in love with her like right on the spot, and like just then she disappears. He goes years like wondering where she go. You know, will I ever see her again? And she shows up on his doorstep. And basically is like, okay, let's get married. But it follows both of them on just this hilarious, awkward adventure of them navigating the married life. It's so funny because it reflects just that awkward stage when you're in like in that beginning part of a relationship, not just even that beginning part, but when you first decide to live together. It just made me and my husband, like, it made us laugh so hard, because there were several moments where I just start laughing. I'm like, oh my god, she's me, and he'll be like, oh my god, that's me, like, that guy's me. And the anime is so cute, and I believe it's getting a second season, which I'm so excited about because it's just too freaking cute. Also, like, the beginning song is like stuck in my head all the time, so definitely check this anime out because it's so good and so cute. The next two books are both nonfiction. I've been trying to get more into nonfiction this year. It's one of my goals. But the two nonfiction books that I bought today, I'm hoping to read in March and April. So the one that I'm planning to read next month is a new release that just came out in January, and it is Laziness Does Not Exist by Devon Price. Just looking at the title where it's like Laziness Does Not Exist, it's like, well, wait, yeah, it does. It does exist. But what this is diving into is really diving into like those, like when you are such a high achiever and just like go all day, every day. And it's that moment of, even when you stop to pause for 5 minutes, it's that feeling of, oh, I'm not doing enough. I need to keep going. I need to keep getting stuff done. And especially, you know, because a lot of times we feel so tired and stressed and overwhelmed because we're constantly on the go. And this talks about, you know, when we stop, like, it's okay to stop. It's okay to pause. And I'm really excited to dive into this because I do struggle with that, where I feel like I constantly have to be doing something. And when I'm not, I feel really bad if I'm not. Even if it's just for 30 minutes or whatever it is, it's like, oh, I should be doing something. So actually, fun fact. So this is what I went into the store for originally. Like, this is the book that I went into to buy today. The only book I meant to buy today. And then I bought everything else. So the last book of my little book haul. Didn't know you were getting a book haul through this vlog, did ya? So the last one I bought is Burnout: The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle. I'm excited for this one. So I know this book has a new cover. This is the older cover of this, but basically this is talking about the stress cycle when it comes to women. You know, how to break the stress cycle and how to look at stress, and you know, especially as a woman, of just the societal pressures that we face, of just our everyday lives. I'm seeing a trend here of books that have to do with stress. This has to do with stress. This has to do with stress. Can you tell I'm stressed? Maybe just a little. So I am gonna go get dinner ready. It's about that time. Also, I just realized that the clock in the background is totally dead. That clock, I need to put new batteries in that. I have this routine of right after I cook dinner, I try to just unwind. So I will play Animal Crossing for about an hour, check on all my island people and sell all the seashells, and just, you know, make sure all my flowers are good. Yeah, after I play Animal Crossing, I'm going to read. So I'm going to try to read The Burning God and try to finish it, because I think I could. If I don't finish it tonight, I'm definitely finishing it tomorrow. I don't care if I'm sad for the rest of the day. Like, I kind of want to just finish it in the morning. So if I'm crying all day, then so be it. Or I might check in maybe later tonight, just kind of going through my thoughts of The Burning God, like as I get toward the end. Morning. So it is Friday. It's like close to 1, I think. Still haven't fixed the clock behind me. Need to do that. This morning, reading and finishing The Burning God. So let's talk about it. Y'all, I finished The Burning God, and I really don't know how to talk about this book. Right in my assumption that this would break my heart and just like tear out my soul and, you know, all the great things. This was so good. So good. And even though it ended so sad and just so heartbreaking, like this is probably now one of my favorite fantasy series of all time. The writing is impeccable. Like, just the way that R.F Kuang tells the story, and just her character development, and just makes you really root for the characters, and even some of the bad guys I found myself rooting for, and makes you really, especially with the characters, because there are some where I'm like, are they really the bad guy? Is there really like a true bad guy? Like, does that exist in this book? Just the way that she told their stories was amazing, especially the main character Ren, and seeing how everything ended for her was just incredible. I'm still processing what all happened there at the end, especially with Ren and with Kate, and I could be saying his name wrong. Also with Neza, and would someone please correct me on how to pronounce his name? I keep saying Neza, and I don't know if that's how you actually say his name. I am so amazed with how this series wrapped up. I was gasping in shock with just betrayals that were occurring, and especially towards the end, I was actually just gasping in shock at the fights at the end. And I literally just have no words for how this ended. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. And I'm not gonna go too deep into everything because I don't want to spoil this series. I really don't. If you want specifics on this book, read it. The thing I appreciate with this book was how it really dove into like the realities of what it is like in the war, but even after, when the war's done, what happens, because a lot of books, where it's like, oh, we won the war, everything's happy, everyone's happy, this is great, we have a new ruler, this is amazing. But what I loved in this one is that this got real. This talked about like what the citizens have been going through, and just how it has impacted everything, how it impacted trade, how it impacted their agriculture, how it impacted just their lives. And they talked about just the struggles they were going through, like at the end, with really a lot of strategy, and the sense of, how are we going to feed our people? How are we going to rebuild? How are we going to do all these different things? It was shocking of just what the realities of war are. Appreciated that this book went there, because it really showed, like, even if you win, and then even when you lose, what are the realities? This is going to be a very hard series to get out of my head, and to just even think straight for a while. I'm probably just going to be in just a weird mood for the rest of the day. Yeah, this wasn't the easiest read I've ever read. It definitely had moments of where I had to kind of put it down, and I just found myself just kind of pondering on it and really thinking about it, and I can't even use words. I just can't articulate what I'm wanting to say with this book. 5 out of 5 stars. If I could, I would just give this like a billion stars. Like, it was just so good. A lot of emotions with this series, and it was beautiful. So beautiful, and just heart-wrenching, and all the above. So that's how Friday is starting. Weekend's off to a great start. For the rest of today, I get to go do some adulting. My husband and I are gonna go drive around some different towns outside of where we live, and looking at like building a new home, and which never built a house before, so get to go through that process and see what that process is like. I plan to do a lot of reading tonight to kind of just unwind, diving into a new book. A part of me doesn't even want to dive into a new book tonight. Part of me just wants to wait till tomorrow, because I just don't think I'm going to be over this book for a while. But I really want to dive into something new. I think I'll probably start with the Dead List, just to kind of get out of fantasy for a few hours before I go into like these violent delights. Yeah, I just don't think I'm going to be over the Burning God anytime soon. Today, tomorrow, a week from now, a month from now. I think jumping into the Dead List is going to be a good decision. One, because it's Jennifer Armentrout, and all her books are just so fast-paced and just so much fun. So I think jumping into that's going to be kind of just a good refresher, just a good palate cleanser in a way. Okay, it's Saturday. I did a horrible job vlogging yesterday. I think I had like one check-in the entire day. So yesterday was pretty busy. As I mentioned, like my husband and I, we went and looked at plots of land, which took a while, and just kind of got a plan together of what we're gonna do as far as with like selling our house and just figuring out where we're gonna go, where we want to build, and all those fun things. So by the time we got home, I was so tired. My brain, one of the things that I promised myself, a long time ago, was to always listen to what my brain is telling me, what my body is telling me, just always be listening. And one of those things that I really listen to is when my mind just can't handle anything else. So I very quickly, when we got home, I just laid on the couch. I just stayed there for a while, closed my eyes. I didn't even fall asleep, but just closing my eyes and just trying not to think about too much. Just letting my brain kind of rest. I think it had just absorbed a lot of information and was trying to like really quickly make a plan, but it's always good to just be nice to your mind. It's like, okay, I do not need a plan right now. It can wait a couple hours or even 24 hours. It can wait. As I've learned, which I think I said, a few days ago, it's kind of become a mantra to me. I just love saying it to myself. It helps when I say it to myself. But I always say, like doing nothing is something, and that something is for you. And so I repeat that to myself a lot when I feel like I need to just go. I have to make a plan. I have to figure things out. I need to know what's going to happen in 20 years. No, I don't. I don't. Anyways, I sat and relaxed for a while. So I didn't even get to start reading until super, super late. I think it was like 10 o'clock when I got like a burst of energy and felt like doing something. But figured I'd get on this morning before I kind of started my day. And talk about the book that I started and got pretty far. I got over 100 pages in, and that is going to be the dead list. Okay, so the dead list, I went into this completely blind. I know nothing about it. All I knew was the little tagline at the top of he's keeping a list, he's checking it twice. And just dove right in. So this follows Ella, and she is a senior in high school. Like at the beginning of the book, well, let me back up. So kind of the beginning of the book, it's in the past, like the first chapter says then, second chapter's now. And you kind of go back and forth a few times, like within then and now. But it starts off with then, and you kind of get this little story of Ella, our main character, and some of her friends, like this little group of 4. And you kind of learn who some of their names are. And then it jumps into, of course, the present. With that, like just looking back at that then piece, it's like, okay, something happened in her childhood that is gonna be addressed at some point. I don't know what happened, but something happened. So Ella, being a senior, she's super excited to start her senior year. And the first chapter kind of starts off with her at this party with her best friend, and they're really excited. And when Ella goes to leave this party, she is attacked and almost killed, which I was not expected going into this blind. It's fairly quickly when this happens, and I was freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, like, oh, okay, this is how we're starting this book. So she is attacked, nearly killed, and saved by one of her old childhood friends, who she hasn't talked to in years. And so she's saved by him. The attacker runs free. Like, they don't catch him. So she thinks, like, okay, everything's gonna be fine, and she really takes initiative and decides, I'm gonna learn self-defense, and I'm gonna, be stronger than this. I'm gonna fight back and make sure this never happens to me again. And which I really love that about her character, that even though she could have just stayed home, like, she didn't miss her first day of school, like, she just went. And even though, like, she probably should have rested and, stayed home, but she's like, no, I'm gonna fight this. I'm not gonna let this guy have power over me. Or she goes back to school, and things begin to occur. So she comes home and there's literally like a clown mask, which by the way, the attacker wore a clown mask. So if you don't like clowns, maybe not pick this up. It might scare you a little bit. Stuff like this just starts happening to where, yeah, things just begin to occur. Strange things. And I think it has to do with her past. So, anyways, I'm going to dive a little bit further into this, just kind of more of my thoughts on it. So I might, if you want to go into this completely blind, of course, I just revealed like a lot of things. My bad. So if you really don't want to know anymore, probably skip ahead when I'm not talking about this anymore. Okay. I probably should have said that before I started talking about the book, but I'm new at this. I'll get there. More of my thoughts on this. Like, so this group of friends, like this group of 4 that is mentioned in the beginning, I really want to know more about that group because so you have Ella and then there's Jensen, who is the guy who saved her and just happens to be teaching her self-defense. If you know Jennifer L. Armentrout, you know it's going to be entertaining and very, very interesting in a good way. There's Gavin, who is Ella's ex-boyfriend, and then Penn. Haven't met Penn yet. I'm thinking something really bad happened to Penn because every time he's mentioned, like the main character locks down, but even like Jensen and like Gavin, like they will not talk about him. So I really kind of want to know what happened to him. I think something bad really happened when they were kids. I'll say though, I'm iffy on Gavin. Okay, so he's like the ex-boyfriend, but he's acting strange. I don't know, he's kind of a jerk to me. He is really territorial of Ella. So like she has like Jensen's over at her house and he's like checking on her and like making a schedule for like when they're going to be taking their self-defense classes, and then Gavin comes over, you know, basically, you know, kind of forces Jensen out where Jensen's like, I'm going to leave. I feel like I'm in an awkward situation, which is true. When he leaves, Gavin's like, you shouldn't be around him. You shouldn't be alone with him. You shouldn't be seen with him. Hello, Gavin. You're the ex-boyfriend. I hate it when guys get like that, especially like ex-boyfriends when they're like, you can't be around that person. It's like, do you have any power over me? No. So I feel like something's up with Gavin. I could be completely wrong on that. I could be just being misled, maybe, that it's not anything to do with Gavin, just somebody else, but they're going to make it seem like it has to do with Gavin. I don't know. It could be like that, or maybe I'm right and just guessed it really quick. I don't know, but I feel like something's up because, yeah, there are these girls who are going missing, and I feel like Ella would have been one of those girls, but she got away. I don't know, but I feel like it's linked to whatever happened in their past. Like, it has to do with what happened when they were kids. And like I said, I'm only about a little over 100 pages in. I'm like 30% of the way through the book. I will say this is really, it's a fun read. Like, if you've read anything by Jennifer L. Armentrout, then you know that her writing's always just fun. It's really fast-paced. Like, the characters, like, you just immediately want to know more about them. And I love our main character Ella so much. Like, I just think her strength is really interesting and to me, and I just, even in the face of trauma, like, she almost died. She was almost strangled to death. But she's, you know, going, I want to learn how to defend myself. I want to learn how to fight back. Because in her self-defense class, you know, like, Jensen tries to teach her, you know, here's how you're going to run away. Like, here's how you get away from the guy, and then here's how you're going to run. And she's like, no, I don't want to learn how to run. I want to learn how to fight. Jennifer L. Armentrout's really good at creating really strong female characters, and I love that. So I'm going to start these Violent Delights. I haven't started it yet. I was going to start it yesterday, but I didn't. So I'm going to start that probably later today, probably this afternoon. Today is my mother's birthday, so I'm going to be hanging out with her later today. And stuff like that. So I'm going to try to get as much reading done as I can throughout the day. Try to check in on here. No promises, because I'm learning how to actually vlog. Because I know I said that, like, my vlog would be, like, just, like, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's kind of my weekend. I might do where I wrap up, like, Sunday morning. Just so that way I can talk about anything I read Saturday night. Because Saturday nights are usually pretty big reading nights for me. That's when I'm going to probably finish this and even get a good chunk of these Violent Delights done. So I'll probably check in again in the morning, but I want I'll hopefully check in again before tomorrow, because that way it's not just like one check-in per day, but it's become one of those weekends. I didn't think it was going to be one of those weekends, but it became one of those weekends. So it's a little late in the evening, but had to check in. I'm trying to get good at that with these vlogs of actually checking in. But I wanted to share that I finished the dead list. Okay, this was a wild ride. So I give this 5 stars. So good. So like if you are a huge fan of Jennifer Armentrout, pick this up if you haven't and read it, because it's amazing. It has all the things that we just all love and adore about Jennifer L. Armentrout. It has the goofy, sexy banter between the main character and the love interest. Like, why is every guy that Jennifer L. Armentrout writes about just amazing? Like, I love all of them. Like, the mystery piece of this, like, of just going, who's the killer? Because all these people start turning up dead. And you're going, who's the killer? Who's the killer? So, earlier in the day, I'm going, it has to be Gavin. It has to be. And then I was like, no, I don't think it's him. I think it's this other guy named Mason. And I went, no, I don't think it's him. I think maybe it's this guy named Brock. And literally, JLA has you spinning in circles the entire time, going, no, it's this guy. Oh, wait, no, it's this guy. And leaves you guessing till the very end. Like, the ending was intense. It was crazy. But I will say, this is so much fun. If you don't like clowns, just know going into this, like, it's not like a strong clown presence. Like, there's kind of a clown, not really, but it's still kind of creepy. Like, where I'm probably sure, because since I read majority of this today, that I'm probably gonna have a dream with a clown in it. What I loved about this book also is that it is super fast paced. And like, I mean, I picked it up last night, and now I'm done with it. So the next day. So it's so much fun, super fast paced. And yeah, I don't even know what else to say. I'm still just in awe at how it ended. I was like, whoa, okay. Definitely pick this one up if you like kind of this is definitely, I would say, on the YA side. If you like just kind of this like mystery, thriller, romance, because I mean, it's got this murder at the plot of it, and then the main character, like, she keeps getting attacked, and you know they're definitely after her, but why? And then the steamy romance with it as well. 5 out of 5 stars. So good. Yeah, finish this. So now for the rest of the night, I'm just going to continue to sit right here on this couch, and I'm going to pick up these Violent Delights, which I'm really excited to start. It might be might be like an hour or two, so I can process the dead list, and then I'll start this. I'll probably read maybe like the first 50 to 100 pages tonight, is my goal, so that way I can get a little bit of the ways through it. I'll probably check in again in the morning, kind of close things up, saying how much I read last night, and just kind of talking about everything I read this weekend. And yeah, so probably check in tomorrow morning. Good morning. So it is Sunday. I did not do another check-in last night. I fell asleep on the couch not long after I checked in. I thought I was gonna stay up late, like I was full of energy. I'm going, yay, this could be awesome. I'm gonna stay up super late reading. And I just got hit by the sleepy wall and woke up at some point and realized I fell asleep. So I'm gonna quickly kind of wrap up what I read this weekend and wrap up this vlog. This has been an interesting kind of first reading vlog. I'm practicing, trying to get better at this, so I feel like this is a good first one. I definitely had a lot more stuff to do this weekend, and I think that'll be the case, unfortunately, like weekends going forward as we're trying to get our house ready to sell. Don't mind my wet hair just got out of the shower and I didn't want to wait for it to dry. So here we go. Of course, at the beginning of this weekend, I was able to finish The Burning God, which I'm not going to go into too much more detail about it again because I was very emotional, still kind of am. I definitely give this 5 out of 5. If you are looking for very intense fantasy story, I mean, again, this is a grimdark fantasy, so it is very intense. So if you're looking for something with fantastic character development, just the world building, just the politics, the strategy, and the warfare, like, if you were looking for some of those things, lo and behold, the Poppy War series. So the second book that I finished this weekend was The Dead List. I finished this last night. And again, another 5 out of 5. This was excellent. This was fun. It was mysterious, full of secrets, and angsty romance. Oh my gosh, the romance. It was definitely really fun in the sense of just the mystery piece of it. I mean, the romance piece of it is definitely fun, but the mystery piece of this is excellent because you are constantly guessing. You're changing your mind throughout the book. So highly recommend this one if you're looking for just a really quick read, because again, it's pretty short, like and you fly through it because it is so much fun. And of course, it's by Jennifer Armentrout, so that should be the only reason, you know, to pick this up. The last thing that I finished reading before the sleepy wall decided to bring me down and make me fall asleep on the couch, I was able to read Fly Me to the Moon, Volume 1. My husband was so kind and ordered Volume 1 for Fly Me to the Moon and Made in Abyss for me, so they came in yesterday and I was so excited because Barnes & Noble did not have this, which was fine. At least they had 2 and 3, so I'm probably going to pick those up later today if I'm perfectly honest. So I read this last night, and so I've watched the anime to this. This is me and my husband's favorite to watch together, and it's just everything. I love these characters so much. This was another 5 out of 5 for me. I had a really good ranking this weekend. Nice. I mean, you have these 2 characters where they get married and they're just going through the awkwardness of the beginning of marriage, and it's just really funny. If you're looking for a manga series that is just super cute and funny, with also a little bit of mystery, because you don't really know too much about our bride here, where her origins are unknown, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. So I wasn't able to finish it, but I was able to at least start it, and that is These Violent Delights. I'll probably get a good chunk of the way through this tonight is my goal. Halfway through chapter 2, but it starts off strong. That is what I will say with this, is it starts off very strong. It's very intriguing. I was right in the sense of that there is some sort of monster creature thing, not really sure what it is, that is basically making people rip out their own throats. The ambiance of this book, set in 1920 Shanghai, I'm already loving it so far, because like the first chapter is kind of set in this brothel, and the main characters, Romeo and Juliet, like near the end of the first chapter when they kind of came or met each other in that chapter, it wasn't their first time meeting, so, and there seems to be a lot of anger at one another, and I'm really curious as to why. And what's going on. It seems like something happened years before. Already, I think like the kill count already is like 8 people dead, and we're only at the chapter 2. So it's off to a very strong start. The writing is beautiful. Like, I felt like I was in 1920 Shanghai, and I could just hear like the music in my mind. So I'm hoping to get a good chunk of the way through this tonight, after I kind of just get a few things done around the house. I'm hoping to get a good chunk of the way through this and probably finish this maybe tomorrow or Tuesday. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. I know this is kind of maybe a little bit of a lengthy reading vlog, but this was fun for my first reading vlog. I mean, I got to have a book haul, which was unexpected, and just random reads that I was not planning to read, but did. Leave down in the comments if you know, the books that I read through this vlog. Have you read them? What were your thoughts on them? But also let me know, what are you reading this month? I'm curious to see what you guys are reading and how you're loving your TBR. And also, you know, I'm probably going to add everything you guys put in the comments that you're reading, probably add it onto my own TBR, because that's just what I do. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.